Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Dushan. It is great to be here today. Dushan mentioned that I have an emphasis upon computer coding in every high school. I was delighted by the fact that we had a 260% increase in students taking computer science. But the largest increase was among minority students. That is a great success story. I have traveled just a little bit for Arkansas this last week. I was at the New York Stock Exchange ringing the bell. If you ring the bell of the New York Stock Exchange, the stock market had better go up. And it did. So I was able to come back and say that was a successful endeavor. I want to thank the commissioners of the Martin Luther King Commission for your leadership. I want to thank all of you for being here today to make this celebration particularly significant. I also want to express my thanks to my friend, D.C. Washington, for the incredible friendship he is to Arkansas and the music that he provided. I feel like I've been in both church and celebrating Martin Luther King Day. And I know there's one thing that you would probably like for me to do, and that is for me to yield my time for him. What a great job. Thank you, D.C. It is my honor to join you today in celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm joined today by the First Lady of Arkansas, my wife, Susan. Susan? What is it about Dr. King's life that we celebrate? Perhaps for everyone, it is something different. For all united, it would be simply his success in the civil rights movement. But for me, it is not only that, but it is his passion for justice, his commitment to a strategy of nonviolence in a very turbulent and dangerous time. And then what we all admire was his ability to inspire and challenge his generation and future generations. Dr. King, and I hope he's looking down and does not take offense by this, but Dr. King would have been a good lawyer. He would have been a good lawyer because he understood justice. He loved justice, and he fought for justice every day. But like a lawyer, he had the habit of asking his audience and people probing questions. One of the questions that he asked, he said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Wow, what a question. What a question to ask ourselves. What a question that we should ask the state of Arkansas. And as I reflect back on this last year, and when we called the Hope Summit together, our faith-based nonprofit leaders here in Arkansas, over 500, and challenged them to address two nagging problems in our state. And that is the sufficiency of foster care for the children of our state who need care and protective services. We needed help. We enlisted our nonprofits and our faith-based organizations to join us. The second nagging challenge is that those that are leaving prison after serving their time and coming out into our society and saying, give us a second chance. What are we doing to help those that are seeking a second chance in life? And the people of Arkansas have responded. More needs to be done. But I applaud those church leaders, those nonprofit organizations that says, we will stand up and help those in need in our state. Dr. King asked another question. It was on a Sunday morning in 1957. Dr. King preached in the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery, Alabama. And he asked this question: how do you go about loving your enemies? His answer: begin with yourself. When the opportunity presents itself for you to defeat your enemy, that is the time which you must not do it. That is a question that probes the heart of man. It is a question that strikes each of us in the heart and says, how can we arise to that level? Because, as Martin Luther King said, hate destroys the hater as well as the hated. He rose above hatred. He rose above bitterness. And he said, justice and the importance of our movement requires us to look beyond that. He was unifying. He was bringing people together. He had the ministry of reconciliation. Today, we should take that mantle of reconciliation. We should take his message of looking beyond our enemy and defeating our enemy and saying, how can we bring people together? I get asked the question, why do we need a separate holiday to remember the legacy of Dr. King? And yes, I support that, and I want to recognize Representative Nate Bell for his leadership in the last session of the legislature. But I believe he deserves a separate day of recognition because he inspired a nation in his lifetime, and after his death, his life continues to inspire, teach, and cause us to think. He causes us to think about fairness, about justice, about responsibility and service. Let me conclude by saying we need to pray for Arkansas and our nation. And my prayer for us, this state, is that we, in the legacy of Dr. King, will have a giving heart, a serving spirit, and we will have a helping hand to lift up those in need. Thank you. God bless you.